Back at you with another video. Today, I'm going to talk about how to work as a virtual assistant online. Yep. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about this. And I think there's a lot of opportunity in being a virtual assistant because of where technology is going now. You know, you have a lot of people starting companies online. You know, there's a lot of different types of, companies. You got the Facebooks, Google, Instagram, Bing, Microsoft. But those are like the top companies. But there's a lot of smaller companies out here as well. Everybody's not big like Google and Facebook and all these other companies. There's a lot of startups. There's a lot of people out here doing a lot, but they don't have enough support. So that's where you come in at as a virtual assistant. Because being a virtual assistant, it consists of a lot of details. So it could be checking emails, making phone calls, it could be data entry work, scheduling appointments, writing, bookkeeping, marketing, blog management, proofreading, project management, graphics, web design, tech support, customer service, event planning, managing social media. So being a virtual assistant it could be a very broad task. This depends on, this depends on who you're working for, or who you're working with, I should say. Now, a lot of these jobs you can find on Fiverr. You got 24/7 virtual assistant, assistant match. You got Upwork. You got what's the other site? Zip Task, Worldwide 101. So there's a lot of websites you can campaign and apply for jobs. You got Flex Jobs as well, and People Per Hour. So those are just a couple places where you can apply for virtual assistant jobs. Now, before you even apply for to be a virtual assistant, you first got to be set up right. Now, set up right, the first thing you got to do is you got to pick a niche. You got to pick your area of expertise. Now, some people will say, hey, man, I don't got no experience. Well, you can learn. You can learn. Everyone has to start from somewhere. Just like me, for example. I've written a couple of books, but I wasn't writing all my life. I haven't been writing for 20 years. I haven't been writing since I was a little kid. No, that's not my story. Now, there's a lot of people out here that's like that. You know, their parents were writers, and now they're writers. They've been writing for over 35 years, and they've written for the newspaper or the news journal in their town, in their city, and now they transitioned into being a freelancer and everything like that. No, that hasn't been my experience. Yeah, I've been writing for what, 10 years now in my life. I never thought about starting a blog when I was um, a kid or when I was 19 years old in my 20s. No, I never thought about starting a blog. I never thought about writing a book. You know, people say, hey, everyone has a good book in them. I believe there's some truth to that, but I never wanted to write a book. No. The only reason I wrote a book was two reasons, really. Because people wanted me to write the book. That's the first reason. For the first book, they wanted me to write the book. And they kept asking so many questions. So I took those questions and put it in the book and paraphrased the questions. And then plus people wanted me to write the book. So that's how that happened. The second book, I wrote that book because that's the book that I needed to read when I was 19, 20 years old. But I wrote the book because the people wanted them, the audience wanted the book. So, that's my path. And my path is very different from a lot of other people, you know. So I basically, the stuff that I write about, I didn't have to go learn that anywhere because I'm still living that to this day. I learned through trial and error. I happened to learn through making a bunch of mistakes that I made through relationships, travel, finances, so all the stuff that I write about. I've actually made those mistakes. So I didn't have to go research anything or, no, I just sat down and said, hey, okay, I had the same experience doing this. How am I going to format those mistakes in this article on my blog, in this chapter? That's how that came about, you know. Not knocking anybody else. Some people come from a family of writers. That's not my family. I'm the only writer in my family. Last I checked. I'm the only published author in my family. Last I checked. I went falls back as I could remember. There's no writers in my family. So that's what I did. Choose your area of expertise, something that you know, something that you're passionate about, something that comes easy to you, but not so easy to everyone else, and people are willing to listen to you. And eventually they'll pay for the information that you're willing to give. And the next thing you got to do, you got to have a website. You got to have a website. It don't got necessarily got to be a fancy website. It can be a plain website. The name of your website has to be pertaining to you, what you're doing, um, uh, why you got to think, but you have to think about this stuff. What do you, why should, what do you want people to do when they get to your website? What do you want to be known for? You got to think about all this stuff before you even buy the website name, you know. And you can use WordPress. That's what I use. There's a lot of people use a lot of different softwares out here for a website. Some people just use HTML code to code their website. Some people use WordPress. There's a lot of platforms to use out here, but I use WordPress. And you need a logo or a header on the top of your website. You need a nice design, but it don't got to be flashy. It don't got to be luxurious. Just plain website, plain blog to get started. Now you can get fancy later, but in the beginning you don't have to get fancy because you're new. So your biggest thing in the beginning is you have to learn how to market and promote yourself. That's the biggest problem. This is where most people drop the ball at because most people, it takes a long, it takes a while for you to learn how to promote yourself, a website especially, if you've never done it before. And most people quit when they get to this point. See, there's a lot of people out here, they get they'll get the business cards, t-shirt, uh, they'll have the business plan. They'll go to the meetups. They might even have a Facebook account, fan page. They'll have they'll do all the busy work. But when it's really time to do things that's going to really count, that's going to really um, get you out there in front of the right audience that's interested in what you have to offer. Most people drop the ball because they see there's something weird about a lot of people out here. A lot of people they say they want to do a lot of things, but they kind of want to hide. They don't want to be out on camera. Some people say, I don't like how I look. I don't like how I sound. All kinds of stuff. People have, seem to have low self-esteem or something's going on with a lot of people, man. And then to promote yourself is a lot of different ways. You can use social media. You can network with people. You can use email. You can guest blog. You can you can place ads. That's what I do. I place ads and I blog. You can speak in public at certain events. Um, in the beginning, you probably have to do free speaking gigs in the beginning because if no one knows who you are, unless you know somebody, I don't know if people are going to be willing to pay you up front like that, unless you know somebody, unless you sold yourself or maybe someone was sold on you in the beginning. It happens, but it doesn't happen very often in the beginning. If people don't know who you are, they're gonna be very less likely to give you I don't know, $2,000-3,000 to speak in front of an audience. Especially if they don't know, especially if they never heard you speak before. I don't. It happens, but it's not likely to happen for everybody. That's all I'm saying. You can use PR agencies if you want. I think if you give a PR agency like $7,000, they'll make you famous, but you know, who knows how long that's gonna last. Being famous doesn't equate to staying around for a long time or being a person of value. And you can use a lot of print advertising offline. You can use a lot of guerrilla marketing offline, like street signs, um, banners. Uh, you can use a lot of. Um, you can hire other people to hold up street signs for you, like women. I've seen people do this. I've seen a lot of people use street signs on a corner, pointing people to their website or pointing them to some type of direct response. There's a lot of forums online. There's a lot of Facebook groups as well. You can target people in certain groups on Facebook, certain fan pages, certain people you can target if they have if y'all have a similar audience. So the promotion part, um, it takes time. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's not easy for everybody. I don't think it's really easy for anybody. But but what I can say when it comes to the promotional part, once you build up momentum, um, you won't have to go so hard when it comes to marketing and promotion. You know, it's kind of like if someone buys your book, if you can get a lot of people, if you can drive a lot of people to buy your book over a certain amount of time, uh, word of mouth might take over because you built up so much momentum over a long period of time. You won't necessarily have to keep promoting your book all the time. The word of mouth will take over. And there's a lot of people who have done it. Well, not a lot of people, but there's some people that have done this. There's some books like um, a book by Tariq Nasheed called the Mack Within. This book sells regardless. He doesn't have to say a thing about it. It's been selling for 10 years, flying off the shelves. That's because he built up so much momentum over the years. And another book like Think and Grow Rich, Science of Getting Rich. Those three books, they sell regardless. They sold millions of copies. They're gonna sell regardless. You know, and no one ever promotes Think and Grow Rich or the Science of Getting Rich. No one ever promotes it. Don't have to, because they done built up so much momentum over the years where it's like it's gonna sell regardless. You know. I mean, those books sell so much. Whoever owned the publishing of Think and Grow Rich, the Napoleon Hill Foundation owned the rights to that, and the other book, uh, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. I don't know who owned the publishing and rights to that book, but let's take Tariq Nasheed, The Mack Within. That book, it's in itself, it sells so many copies. If he stopped doing everything else, he'll be able to live off just that book. That's how much. I say all that to say this. That's how much these books sells like crazy. You know. So that's a good example of what I'm talking about. If you build up so much momentum over a long period of time, 2, 3, 5 years, you keep promoting that book, keep promoting your merchandise. After a while, word of mouth takes over, and it becomes like a machine. You know, so you have to do your website just like that too. After and plus, with the help of being that it's a website, the help of the search engines help you out if you use the proper keywords on your website, on your blog. So that's another thing to keep in mind as well. So you have to consistently invest into yourself with tools like books, online courses, and you got to kind of keep up on the latest trends. You don't have to keep up on everything, but you got to just learn the basics. And there's no way you can keep up on everything. It's impossible. But just every once in a while, I'll like run into something, or somebody might tell me something, and I'll listen to see if I can apply whatever they're talking about towards what I'm doing. And what I would say is go to conferences and seminars that's in your area. Or you might have to go out of town every once in a while. Or you should go out of town every once in a while. You know, or start your own little club. Own little club of people that's y'all are doing the same or similar thing. Or attend some meetups in your local area. Some of these meetups are okay. You know, they're not the best group of people you meet in the world, but Some of them are okay, but that's just my experience with the meetups. Maybe your experience with meetups might be better, hopefully, But attend conferences. That's probably the best places to meet people that need your help based on your niche, you know. So, these are just a couple ways to work as a virtual assistant for, mostly big companies and even small companies. But the like I said, most people usually drop the ball when it comes to the promotional side, because it takes time. It takes time to learn how to place ads on Google. It takes time to learn how to use Facebook. Facebook is not really user friendly, So that's the thing. See, most people are not technical people like that, And then what usually happens is they'll hire somebody, and that person that they hire, they'll jerk them and take their money, and then they'll just give up, So, and then you have people they say, "Oh, I'm shy," I get so nervous when I get in front of people. But if you want to make a lot of money, you can't be shy. Well, I'll take that back. You can be shy, but just don't let that hold you back. Don't let that stop you from doing whatever you want to do. That's all I'm saying. So, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to my channel. Any questions, any concerns, leave your comments below. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.